Hello, Gabby Turner here. Welcome to this pick a card reading. We've got 3 options from left to right. And we're going to be looking into the topic of what does your person of interest regret regarding the two of you and the connection. So anything they've said or done or not said or done, we'll just see in general what regrets they might have regarding you. So whatever person is on your mind, go ahead and tune into that person right now. And your options from left to right. Option number 1 is this clear black and brown stone that I'm pointing to, and that is Tourmalined Quartz. And all of these will be listed in the description box with timestamps. Option number 2, the middle card, this sort of light blue and clear crystal, is called Hiddenite, Hiddenite. And option number 3, the blue stone on the end, is Azurite. So those are your options. Option number 1, Tourmalined Quartz. Option number 2 is Hiddenite. And option number 3 is Azurite. All right, so tune into your intuition to see which option or options are aligning with you and your person. Use those timestamps, and I will see you at your reading. Okay, group 1, you chose the Tourmalined Quartz, this stone right here. Let's go ahead and get into your reading and see what your person is regretting. Do they have regrets regarding you, and what might those be? The first thing that I am getting, though, just to start off with, is I'm feeling like there's a lack of elbow room. You know, it's kind of like they didn't have enough space. There's a feeling of them not figuring out how to make space for themselves within the connection, not feeling that there's enough room for them to truly just be themselves is part of it. But I do feel like in general, like this person does desire. We have a lot of Pentacles cards. We have the Page of Pentacles as the central energy. We have the 6 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles. So I think that they view the two of you as having staying power, right? So they do feel like the two of you work. You can go the distance, so to speak. They feel like the efforts that the both of you are putting into this connection are making a difference, that this is not wasted effort, it's productive effort, right? And they feel like it's worth continuing to invest in this connection. I would say this is not someone who wants to give up on it, but what they're regretting, like I said, let's look into that more, is that despite the fact that they feel like the two of you can go the distance, and I do feel that they want that actually, they just don't know how to, like, how can I still be myself as an individual and feel like I have room to breathe, you know, within this relationship, and for it not to suffer. I think they feel, you know, like that they are the type of person, and maybe this person has a lot of Scorpio in their chart, or even like Uranus, Aquarius, Pluto elements that are strong, but regardless, we have the Death card over here. I feel like this is someone, they have to go through these total life transformations at various points in their life, like the phoenix rising from the ash, or the snake shedding its old skin and emerging with a new skin, right? This is someone, they kind of have to let all the old self burn down and emerge anew. It's like part of their life force. This is how the life force works through this person. And I think part of them not understanding how to navigate the connection with you and their regrets about it is that they do feel like maybe it makes you worry sometimes, or that they're afraid that you can't handle it, or they're putting too much. That's what they're regretting as well. Like, I'm really having to put too much weight on group 1's shoulders here. Group 1, what an angel for having to put up with me. You know, they do feel like they do feel like with this shared energy being the Hanged Man, they think, okay, group one really goes out of their way to try to be patient with me. They go out of their way to try to understand why I'm like this. But they're like, I know it's not easy on them, you know, like for them to have to deal with these changes that I'm going through. Tell me a little bit more about these changes. I think this is someone who, so we have the Three of Cups, the Two of Swords, and then the Seven of Wands. I don't know. It's like they get involved with certain people, like their friend group or whoever. They start to associate with people or be more social. They have periods in their life where they're more socially engaged, or where they're hanging out with certain other people. And then they have like some sort of aha moment, and they recognize, I think, that some of the people they've been spending time with are not good for them. It also could be just the amount of time they've spent socializing is not good for them, or they've been socializing in ways that are unhealthy. You know, like if they're going out to the bar and drinking too much with their friends, for example, or doing other things with a social group that isn't good for their health in some way. They're like, okay, maybe I've been overindulging, or I've been around people who have influenced me to drink too much, to use too much drugs, to be too promiscuous, to eat too much even, you know? Like sometimes when we have self-destructive tendencies, we gravitate towards people who have similar self-destructive tendencies, because there's a sort of like group enabling process that goes along here. But I feel like this person, like whatever it is, you know, it could be choosing the wrong people, doing the wrong things with people in a social setting, and or just, okay, I've been socializing too much and now I kind of need to take space for myself. Like there's some sort of like cycle or process that they go through that involves that. And so why do they think that this is affecting you? I do feel like for a lot of you, it has something to do, it could be substance abuse or like some sort of unhealthy overindulgence that they get involved in. Because it's almost like, it almost feels like a hangover or something. You know, this can be a literal or metaphorical hangover, but like they've been overdoing it in some way socially, overindulging. And then they start to have regrets about the fact that they've been doing these things. And, well, maybe I shouldn't have been going out to the bar so much with my friends, for example. And I don't know, it's like they see you again as like almost like eternally patient, like the patience of a saint, but they feel like you shouldn't have to have that patience with them, because it zaps their energy. It makes them unhealthy in a mind, body, spirit type of a way when they engage so much in this overindulgence. And then they have to like switch gears and start, you know, like letting go. They could be having to let go of certain people, or just not going out like they were. Let's see here. Because I feel like naturally this person is so vibrant. We have the Sun card, the Ace of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. Like they have a natural zest for life. And when they start going down that path of self-destruction, it zaps all of that. Like they have this beautiful, bright, loving energy, you know, like they could be filling their cups of joy from going to the ocean, for example, like going to visit a botanical garden, you know what I mean? Or just sitting outside, you know, on the patio, drinking their coffee or their tea or whatever, you know what I mean? Like these are the types of things that truly fill this person and light the fire of their spirit and really make them feel revitalized and happy and joyfully connected to life. This is their person's natural state when they're at their healthiest. And again, I'm saying healthy in like a mind, body, spirit connected sort of way. They're very beautifully vibrant and happy, but I don't know, like sometimes I think, you know, they just get pulled into things that take them away from what is a naturally healthy process of engaging with life, and they start to overdo it with the self-destructive things that I've already mentioned. So it does feel like they have a lot of regrets about this. Because I think they feel like you have been so loving to them, and it's almost like when I act that way and I'm self-destructive, it's almost like a slap in the face to you and all of the love and patience you have given me. So they're kind of like, if you were to walk away from me, or if you have walked away from them, they understand it. Like, they feel like it's justified. But at the same time, they're like, I can't stop being this phoenix that goes through this death and rebirth process. Like, I don't know how to find an equilibrium here where I'm just stable and happy and can maintain it. It seems like I have to keep walking through, you know, the swampy, yucky, you know, seedier parts of life in order to reemerge fresh and invigorated and ready to be healthy again. They go through cycles of healthy and unhealthy is really basically what it is. And that's their biggest regret. Let's see if there's anything else that they're regretting here. Let me do a good reshuffle. Actually, I think I want to tap into the crystal card deck and just kind of read it in a more psychic sense. Like, read the vibes. What else does this person regret? They regret doing it to themselves is one thing. You know, I feel like even this person looks at photos of themselves when they've been in the happy, vibrant, joyful phase. And they're like, I know that that's what I'm capable of. Like, they can see it even in the way that they look when they're in a happier phase of life. Like, they know very well. They are self-aware. I will say that. This person is quite self-aware. And they know what they're capable of. They know the good nature that they're capable of. They know the healthy that they're capable of. But I feel like they know it most strongly when they're walking on the shadowy, unhealthy path. That's when they know most distinctly, like, the happiness and joy that they're capable of. When they're in the happiness and joy, like, they're in it, but they're not recognizing it. It's almost like, you know, you have to have a contrast in order to be able to see clearly. So they need that contrast, and that's part of why they go back and forth, to almost like for their spirit or their soul to be reminded of the happiness and purity. There's a sort of purity and lightness of heart that they're capable of achieving and existing within for periods of time, you know, extended periods of time. But their wisdom is found through going into more of the shadow and having that higher contrast. Yeah, but I do feel like this process, the back and forth, you know, for what it's worth, it does give them a lot of self-awareness. This is a person who has a lot of self-awareness. You know, I think that they try to be patient with themselves as well. Like, yeah, they do regret that they're basically hurting themselves, and in that process they're making you suffer as well, because they know that you don't like to see them sick. You don't like to see them in the sickness of what they do to themselves when they're self-destructive. But, like, they're looking for answers also. Like, I think this might be someone too who uses substances at times to try to connect to some sort of higher wisdom, right? Like someone who's like, well, I do drugs to get a spiritual high, or like to achieve spiritual insights, which, sure, like, that is warranted in it to a degree, but, you know, like, it's a difficult medicine, you know, to take that medicine, if you will, the dosage, right? Like, are you dosing a little bit too much? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're using all the time, then, you know, where does it go from being therapeutic to self-destructive? It's very easy to cross that line, especially if you have an addictive personality, right? But yeah, this is a multifaceted person. I do feel as well like when this person is in this more like golden, lighthearted, quote unquote healthy energy, they almost, it's like they feel like they're not able to be in a way their authentic selves because they know that shadow aspect exists. I think really basically what this person is struggling with is how can I be my authentic whole self? You know, like when I'm a goody two shoes, I'm like a total goody two shoes, you know? And they're like, I know that's not the entirety of who I am though, so it almost doesn't feel like I'm being genuine. So then they go into their shadow to like search for that genuine self. So anyway, let's not beat a dead horse here. Like, what else might this person regret? Oops. Yeah, I was kind of picking this up too. Like, I do think that part of when they're in their, like I said, it's, you know, when they're clean, they also get into a sort of goody two-shoes things. This could be someone with spiritual and or religious beliefs in which there are certain expectations. We have the Hierophant and the Temperance card, which both relate to spiritual traditions and teachings. And then we have this Two of Pentacles. It's like, they're trying to find a balance because I think that maybe the expectations of, let's say, for example, you know, it might not be exactly what your person is going through, but like someone who, like, when they're clean, where they're walking the clean path, they're going to 12-step meetings and like talking about their higher power, or they're like going to church regularly, or something else, and like really connecting to spirituality. But when they do that, there may be a lot that goes along with that doesn't really vibe with this person's natural belief system. It's like the orthodox belief system, like these are all the sins that you have to avoid. Like, I think at some point it gets to be too much for this person, because they're like, you know, like, yeah, I appreciate that my religion or my spirituality or whatever, it helps me to cope with my self-destructive tendencies. It helps me to stay on the straight and narrow and stay clean and happy and vibrant. But at the same time, something about it feels inauthentic because I'm expected to believe the whole package, right? Like, I'm going to church and like I don't really vibe with everything that's being said at church, and yet it feels like I'm not enough of a Christian or what have you, you know, whatever their spiritual path is, unless I just take the whole thing in this one complete box wrapped up in this perfect little bow. And I just feel like this person, maybe they have their own opinions, right? And look here, like we have someone who they really want to be able to balance. Like here we have the healthy stuff, we've got the carrots in the water, over here we've got the martini and the cupcakes, you know, like trying to achieve, like, how can I balance this out, like, you know, and just be a whole person? Like, does God not love me if I'm a whole person? Like, I have to be like always good, and like, you know, there are all these things that are considered sins, and some of them really don't seem like they are bad for me. And I feel like that's what, it's almost like this person feels like it's all or nothing. Like either I obey by all of these rules, or I just totally like fall into, you know, the unhealthy, the shadow part of life. Like I can be totally unhinged and overindulgent in all the worst ways, or I can be totally clean. Like, where's the middle ground here, right? Can God not accept me if I am you know, like I've already said it, but I do feel like that's something that this person struggles with as well. You know, in terms of how this affects the two of you, like I think that they may also feel that you have your own opinions about it all also. Like, I feel like they do believe that you are not judging them for this yourself, you know, so I would say in terms of that, they really appreciate that you give them a sort of feedback or a feeling that like, yeah, it is actually okay to be a whole person. Like, you know, you could go to a church and they could be thumping the Bible telling you that everything you do is wrong, you know, or like this, that, and other. Like, I was trying to go to church and I had this woman like hounding me about how horrible tarot reading was, and like, this is not the good Christian thing to do, for example. And it's like, I just want to go worship and praise Jesus, you know, like, and I want a place to fellowship with other people. And it just makes it difficult when you're in order to find people to fellowship with in that way, you're also encountering people who have these very firm ideas about what is an acceptable way to walk this spiritual or religious path or not, you know. So anyway, I do think that they see you as a sort of kindred spirit. They don't think, because we have the Ten of Swords reversed here, whereas when it comes to maybe their drug use or like self-destructive behaviors, they do feel like that hurts you. They don't really feel like you're hurt by them being honest about what their actual faith and actual beliefs are and their approach to all of that. But it is just like I guess a general regret that they do have. And I think it's coming up in this reading for you to understand that they do see you as a kindred spirit in that way. You know, maybe they still don't agree with you totally on everything spiritually or religiously, because we do have the Five of Wands here, but it's like small potatoes, you know, because like the heart of the spiritual or religious beliefs are very similar, you know, like they feel that the basis of your approach to that is from love, and the basis of their approach to it is from love. And so that's where you have common ground, and they would appreciate that about you, actually. So we got kind of a mix of things for you guys. I do hope that that was a helpful and insightful reading. If you want a personal reading, the information is down in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, group 2, you chose this beautiful Hiddenite, and it says on the back, claim your happy place. So let's look into it and see, what does your person of interest regret regarding you, regarding anything they have done or said towards you, regarding the connection, basically. I am like using the crystal card deck as well to read from, in addition to tarot, and so I'm already getting some information here. Like, one of the things they regret is that they have not really been able to thoughtfully and completely convey to you their love and devotion, because I think that it's like they feel like they have to be more masculine, you know. This is especially true if you're watching this for someone who is male identified, but like they feel, it's like they're afraid of being too feminine, and they feel like if they really opened up and showed how much their devotion and their love is towards you, it's like it puts them into a feminine energy, quote unquote, too much, or like too much to make them feel comfortable. They don't feel comfortable like wading that much into their femininity, but like they do feel that for you, you know, like they would want to like gather up roses or wildflowers for you, or like write you sweet love poems, you know, like, but I feel like they don't know how. Like, maybe they've been able to do that a little bit, but I feel like they're afraid of doing that too much. And then when I split the tarot deck, I got something similar here. We have the Emperor. You know, so this is someone in their masculine energy. And if you're watching this for a woman, or someone who's woman identified, still, it could be someone who's just a little bit too afraid of being vulnerable and opening up. But they do regret that they haven't been able to open up, right? So they have these competing desires here on this Six of Cups. This is what they want to do. They want to be sweet to you and gentle, right? And devoted, and show you that they are devoted to you. But also they feel like they need to show up and be like this strong, independent presence who's like kind of no nonsense and like focused on more the practical sides of life and getting the job done and being a provider, going out there and conquering the world, right? So in any case, they regret not finding a way to soften themselves and communicate to you the true sweetness and level of devotion. And I think part of why they regret that too is because they're kind of afraid that you will find someone else who can do that. Someone else who's not so afraid of like moving into their feminine energy in order to express that love and devotion. But it's like they always have to feel a little bit on guard, or like there's a little prickliness about this person where they can't let their guard down completely, because then they don't feel safe themselves or protected. But yeah, they feel either that you have moved on, or they sense that there's a possibility that you could move on and find that sweetness. You see in these cards, there's all this pink soft energy, so they feel like someone else out there is going to be much more willing to express themselves in that sweet way, which they're interpreting as, well, that's too feminine. And I kind of feel like this is someone who already, especially if this is a man, right? Because you could be watching for anyone, but if this is a man, it's a man who has already been kind of like criticized or attacked for being too feminine, right? And men often do experience that, and for some of them it is especially triggering or especially a difficult thing for them, because I don't know, like they don't want to be viewed that way, they want to be respected as a man, right? So, but they're having a hard time. Anyway, I think I've kind of explained it, but let's see what else your spirit guides want you to know here. I think this person has a lot of dreams or like fantasies as well about you that are romantic. And they also, it could be something like making a sweet picnic, taking you on a picnic, but it's like they're afraid to actually put it into action, because they're like, well, is this going to make me look like a chump? Is it going to make me look like a simp? And then like the other guys are not going to respect me at all because I'm doing this, like they're a little bit too concerned, I think, which it's understandable, because I feel like they've been kind of harassed and bothered over it before. Like, you're too feminine, or like you're not enough of a man, or something like that. I do feel, though, it's interesting, there's actually a picnic here on this card, but like, I feel like this person, they are really trying to be self-reflective here with the Hanged Man and change their ways, so I would say in this case, sometimes when a person regrets something, they just stay stuck in the regret and they don't actually take any action to change it. I feel this person really is trying to change. Like, they do want to start doing those sweeter things for you, like sweet and tender ways of expressing their love and devotion. For some reason, the word devotion in particular keeps wanting to come up. What does that mean for this person? Like, they definitely do not feel like they have shown themselves to be reliably devoted to you. For example, I think they regret, if you have gotten into arguments or disagreements with other people, they also feel like they didn't take your side enough. They left you wondering, does this person even have my back to begin with, right? And they're like, they made you feel sometimes like you were left to your to protect yourself. You were left on your own here with this Hermit card to take care of yourself or defend yourself or make it through difficult times when other people were trying to make it hard for you. They could have had your back more, and they do regret that as well, that they didn't have your back. So that's one way in which it isn't just expressing sweetness and gathering wildflowers for you. It's like literally like they didn't stand up for you at times when, or show up for you at times when they should have. And, you know, what they have witnessed in you is that even when they did not do that, you're very plucky. You know, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you're like, well, I guess I'll just take care of myself. You know, like, I guess I'll defend myself, or like, I'll just try to make the most of it, right? And get on with life. They do feel like you're someone who gravitates more towards optimism and like tries to find the silver lining. And so part of their regret too is like, wow, I did not even, group 2 doesn't even need me. Like, I wasn't there for them. And through the process of me continually not being there for me when they did need me, it turns out that they never really needed me. And like, I think that's a kind of like a sick feeling for this person too. It makes them feel like at, you know, like in the pit of their stomach, a sort of dread or like dismay. It's a negative feeling they have, like to not be needed by you. They don't like that feeling. And yet they're like, well, I facilitated that because I wasn't there for them. I wasn't devoted. I didn't have their back, you know? So I think group 2, this person has a lot of regrets. They are self-aware about where they've effed it up with you. But yeah, they do seem to have a lot of regrets. I feel like they also, they did not make it clear to you that they could be a source of strength to you. They didn't make it clear to you that they wanted to continue to be with you. You know, I think they feel like they didn't fight enough for you. For some of you, if you have walked away from this person, they feel like they did not make their case strongly enough or well enough. You know, they're like, okay, they just let you walk away or something. But in general, like they are regretting that they haven't made it clear to you that they want the two of you to be together. You see on this card, we have this little orange cat and this person, they're going their separate ways. But this is what they want. They want the two of you to be side by side because they do feel like you're both stronger together. It's like they had this dream or vision of what the two of you could have together. Like, we could have it all, right? They do feel a sort of Cinderella story, happily ever after potential with you, which I don't know if that's realistic or not, but they do feel like there's some potential like that is so much happier and well-adjusted, I want to say, for some reason. Like, but they feel like they haven't been able to sell that vision of the two of you being happily ever after. Like, they haven't been able to capture it to you. They have an idea of what they want the two of you to have. It's like they're afraid to say it, or they can't find the right word. So that's one of their regrets. And they feel like their inability to tell you, this is what I want us to have, has led you to believe that they don't really care that much about having anything with you. So it's like they have misled you through not being able to open up and just put their cards out on the table and say, actually, I want it all with you. That's what they want with you. They want it all with you, but they haven't told you that. And because they've held it back so much, it's given the opposite impression that they really just don't want anything. And it's caused a lot of pain and strife and misunderstanding between the two of you. I mean, this person wants to be your life partner, but it's like they're not making that very clear to you. So anyway, that's one of their many regrets. Let's see what else, because this person seems like they do have a lot of regrets. feel like they regret that the two of you have not been able to build enough memories together, like spending time together, building memories, doing fun things together. A picnic keeps coming up. Like, I don't know if that's a specific thing on their mind, or it's just like they want to do these sweet things that will create memories. And they feel like they've really dropped the ball when it comes to that. They haven't put forth the effort to do that. They haven't invested in building these memories. They want the memories to be there, and yet they haven't done the work of actually investing in creating these memories with you and having these special moments that you can remember. It's like even having photo evidence of it, right? Like making photo albums of something, of these special moments, so that the two of you can reflect on, well, this is the life that we have built together. This is the life that we have lived together. It's like all of that seems to be missing. And they feel like, again, I think they feel like, well, you're going to go and create that with someone else. Or maybe they have already seen you to create it with someone else. You know, it's reminding me of that Bruno Mars song, like, I should have bought you flowers. I should have given you all my hours, or whatever, when I had the chance. Yeah. I don't know if I'm getting the lyrics exactly right, but... But anyway, like, I should have shown you my love more. I should have shown you my devotion through, like, buying you flowers and spending more time with you. Like, I had the chance and I blew it. And now it seems like maybe you're going to have that with somebody else. And you deserve it, right? Like, so these are their thoughts. Anything else? We've had a lot coming through. Anything else about this person and their regrets? We have a no, but I will just say again, it's like the thing that bothers them a lot about it is that they feel like you're kind of like perfectly happy without them anyway. And I think that's almost like the aha moment that they needed to trigger these regrets and this self-awareness, because that hurts. They're like, oh, you're doing just fine without me? Like, that doesn't feel good. But I feel like maybe this person has something to say to you as well, so I'm going to give them a moment to do that. Like, what does Group 2's person want to say? A healthy, balanced relationship with you is still something that I want to put energy and effort into, even though I know that you have no reason to understand that that's how I feel, because I have not made it clear to you. I see you walking away, or I feel like you're walking away, and I think that you might give me another chance, but I'm also afraid. I'm even afraid of you giving me another chance, because what if you give me another chance and I blow it again? Because I blew it before, and I'm afraid of blowing it again, a second time, or maybe it's been more than 2 times. And ideally, I want the two of us to be together, and I want to be able to figure out how to be there for you in the way that you deserve. Because I know that you're going to be there for me in the way that I deserve. That's what I want. I really, really want it. I want you to be happy, but I want you to be happy with me. Like, I'm hoping that we can still do that. Like, I know it's possible that maybe we're just not supposed to be together, or maybe that's not how it will work out, and you'll find your happiness with someone else. If that's how it has to be, then I do hope at the very least that you end up happy and with someone who does know how to treat you right. But I really hope that I can figure it out. I hope that we can figure it out. I hope that you would be willing to give me a second chance, even though I probably really don't deserve a second chance. Because how will we ever know? Like, I am scared of having a second chance because I am afraid of blowing it again. But at the same time, I'm willing to risk that, because we're never going to know otherwise. And I will always have regrets if I don't try again. So I hope that we can start making our life decisions together as a couple and as a team, and living life in that way. I know I haven't been able to figure out on my end how to approach that with you, but that's what I want. I want us to be a team. I want us to be life partners. I want us to both help each other to see what we're capable of. I want to be there to help you and support you in achieving your goals and achieving your dreams. I want to be the one who comforts you rather than the one who just lets you walk away, as I did before. I want to know how to have the right comforting words and embraces and approaches to you. All right. So I think that's it. Group 2, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. Information on personal readings is down in the description box below, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, group 3, you chose this beautiful Azurite gemstone card. So let's get into your reading and see what your person regrets. The first thing that I'm getting that they regret is that they feel, and I'm using actually some cards from the gemstone deck to tap into their energy as well. I'm also going to be using tarot, but I feel like this person almost feels like they're too boring or something. Like they regret that they're not a more exciting person, you know, which is, that's sad that they feel like they have to regret part of their personality. And who's to say that they're right anyway? Like, I don't think you actually view this person as boring, but that's how they're sort of viewing themselves. And they do feel regret, almost like a sense of shame about it, that they are a boring person. Let's ask more about that. Like, I feel like they are seeing you as this world and star together. Like, they feel like you're very captivating. Like, there's a lot going on. Maybe you have a lot of interests, or you're involved in a lot of activities or something. Like, you got a lot going on in your world. And so they view you as very interesting. Like, there are lots of different sides to who you are as a person. And maybe they feel like they're a little bit more like one-dimensional or something. Yeah, the world and the star keep coming out. It's like they're just not seeing how, like, they could be a little bit, I don't know, they like to play by the book with this Hierophant card. I feel like this is how they're seeing themselves. Like, they're more living their life in the box, and they feel like you're like outside of the box, you know, like thinking outside the box, coloring outside the lines, and creating your beautiful, vibrant world. So they're comparing themselves to how they view you, and in comparison to you, they feel just kind of boring and plain, I guess. I mean, they have really sweet feelings for you, and I think that these feelings run very deep. They feel very close to you and very connected to you. They're very sweet and tender, and they view you as just such a lovely, beautiful human being. I mean, we had the World card, the Star card, and now the Queen of Cups. Like, I would say this person really cherishes you. They kind of feel, in a way, though, they're like, you know, group 3, they might want someone more exciting than me, but the right person for them is actually someone who's more like straight-laced and ordinary, or like boring, you know? They're like, they need someone to keep them grounded, right? So at the same time, like, they do kind of regret that they're like, maybe, you know, I'm not as interesting as group 3 is themselves, or as interesting as maybe they think that they might want a partner to be or something, but they're like, I'm probably actually the type of person that group 3 needs. They need someone to ground them. They need someone who is maybe a bit more boring. So I don't know, there is a mixture here. Like, I do feel like this person has a mixture of like, okay, I can see myself for who I am, and I can see how that's like negative or unflattering, but at the same time, like, I'm bringing a lot to the table here. We have the 2 of Cups and the 8 of Pentacles. I feel like this person does feel like they have what it takes to love you right. I know that this reading is supposed to be about regrets, but I'm getting a mixture of things here. They feel like they have what it takes to love you right. And I feel like the way that they want to break out of this boringness or ordinariness is just to continue to take the risk of trying to love you. You know, like, I'm going to keep making that attempt. I'm going to keep putting myself out there and loving and cherishing and being sweet and being there for group 3 because it's what they deserve. It's what they need. You know, like, they love seeing you flourish, but like a flower flourishes when it's well tended, right? And that's what they're like. Like, I'm the gardener who can tend to you. Maybe that's a boring job, to water the flower. You know, it would be better to be the flower, right? The flower is so beautiful and vibrant and blooming and blossoming, and I'm just the boring gardener, you know, putting some fertilizer in the dirt and watering it and make sure you're getting the right amount of sunlight, you know. But they want to tend to you and nurture you and nourish you in that way. Okay, anything else about this person's regrets? I think they feel, in terms of that, like, they feel like they still feel like, if they're the gardener in this extended metaphor, they're like, I don't think I helped group 3 as much as I should have, because they still are like not fully reaching their potential in some way. And they really want that for you. Like, maybe they're aware of certain goals or dreams that you have, or they see where you're at in your life, and like, where you're at is so different from the vastness of your potential. Like, your potential is unlimited, and yet they're feeling like you just haven't gotten there in some way. And they're like, wow, I must have dropped the ball. Like, I don't know how I wasn't supportive enough of group 3. Like, when they have like loads and loads and loads of potential, but they're not meeting that potential, like, how could it be? Like, there are people with far less potential who are, you know, achieving more or in a better place in life than group 3 is. It's sort of like they're blaming themselves for all of that, which, again, that may not be correct, but that's what their perception is and how they're viewing it. I think also they feel a sort of regret that maybe, you know, they are a more grounded person, and they do feel like there's someone who can help you to stay grounded, but they're like, the other side of that is that group 3, maybe you're someone who actually has a lot of like strong, intense emotions, and when you're a very emotional person, it's harder to stay grounded, which is why I think they feel like you need someone who helps to ground you. But at the same time, they're like, another of their regret, or it's almost like they're like, I don't know if regret is even the right word, or like they're trying to figure out, like, how can I become better for you? Like, where have I gone wrong, sort of. I guess it's a regret in a way, but they're trying to adjust their sails, you know. They're like, maybe I wasn't willing to allow group 3 to cry on my shoulder or let out those emotions in the way that they needed. Like, maybe they needed to process all those strong feelings, and, you know, I could have pushed them away at certain times when they really needed to vent or unload emotionally, or just process all of this flood of emotions that they were having, you know. Maybe I wasn't there for them enough because I didn't want to deal with their emotions, and I was afraid that group 3 might pull me into their own depression or other negative emotions they were having if I listened to them too much. But, you know, they're regretting it, and they're like, well, I should have tried to be stronger and like be there more for group 3. So I'm asking if there are any other regrets, and I'm getting a no. So I feel like that's pretty much it. But let me see if they have a message for you. They do feel, this is almost like a regret that they have of something that you do or that they think you're doing. They feel like you're not opening up to them. And again, I guess it's a little bit of self-blame too, because they're like, well, I think maybe the reason that group 3 doesn't want to open up to me as much anymore is because, like I just said earlier, like I wasn't there for them at a time when maybe they were really depressed or really sad or just struggling with a lot of intense, difficult emotions. And now they don't even want to open up to me at all. Like so what they want to say is, I'm sorry for making you feel like I'm not someone that you can trust to be there when you need me the most. Like I may have like made myself to be a fair weather friend or a fair weather partner, you know, or whatever, you know, because I wasn't willing to walk with you through it in the worst of times. And now I expect you to be there with me in the best of times. Like I feel like they're saying that they're sorry. They're sorry because they feel it's their fault that you no longer want to share certain things or open up with them very easily. They want you to feel comfortable opening up to them. But they feel also that they understand why maybe you're not doing that as much as you used to. So that's what I've got for you, Group 3. Thank you so much. I hope that this reading was helpful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.